Bronny James, also known as Lebron James Jr., is a very special kid in all sorts of ways. Not the least of which is his father, LeBron. But it's more than that. Because of his father's lifestyle, Bronny has things available to him, or given to him, that make him not just even more special, but someone who is better equipped for life in certain ways, and able to flex much more than the average person. If you don't believe us, allow us to show you 7 things LeBron James Jr. owns you only wish you could have. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Number 7, his dad. Okay, we'll be fair on this one. Bronny doesn't own his father, but it is absolutely something that he has access to, if you will. And LeBron has done a lot for Bronny over the years, as you'll find out. Plus, think about it on a bragging level. Think about all the times people ask about your parents, and you have to say things about your dad like, he's a police officer, or he's a construction worker, he works in accounting. All fair jobs and all things to respect because they're making a living and providing for your family. But when it comes right down to it, none of that stacks up to when Bronny James goes, "My dad is LeBron James." After all, LeBron James is easily one of the greatest players to ever make it to the NBA. And he has multiple MVP awards and NBA final rings to show just how good he is. Some even think if he can get another ring or 2, he'll eclipse Michael Jordan as the greatest ever. Whether that happens or not is immaterial, because Bronny gets to bask in the glory of what comes from his dad being so famous. That's a lot of flex he has right there, and we don't say that lightly. He is able to say that he has one of the most famous athletes in the world as his father, and that's no lie. That, no doubt, makes a lot of people jealous, and we can't blame them for feeling that way.
Hey, they tough on me. I got the toughest household on the team, so if I did an A-, I got to be an A+ on Monday in Detroit, so
Dad?
Got to get better.
Dad says he can be better from the free throw line. Any tips, guys?
So just got to make them, right?
Relax,
Yeah.
just relax.
Just relax and make them.
Relax.
Hey, kids, they know it all.
They do.
6. Sierra Canyon. What you might not realize at first is that there is more to being LeBron James' son than just being someone to brag about. In Bronny's case, he's very much following in his dad's footsteps in that he wants to go and be an NBA player. And right now, despite everything going on in the world, he's very much trying to achieve that goal. So much so that one of the major reasons why LeBron James went to Los Angeles wasn't just to go to the Lakers and get them another title, but to ensure that Bronny and his other children had the best education possible via the LA schools. And for Bronny specifically, he wanted to make sure he had a school that would go and push his skills to the next level so that he could go and be scouted by good colleges. To that end, he took him to the famous Sierra Canyon High School. This school is known for helping make good basketball players, and many eyes are on this team to see just how good Bronny is. And if you need further reason to be jealous of Bronny, not only is he going to this prestige school, he's playing basketball with Zaire Wade. You know, the son of Dwayne Wade. Yep, these two are quite the combo and are turning a lot of heads. And should things really get back to normal, you can bet that these two will continue to light up the court so that they can get good offers to colleges and further get their career set up for the NBA. 5. Future car? Here's the thing. While Bronny James does own a lot in certain ways, one thing that he doesn't own, that we can tell anyway, is a car. Which you might think is odd, but you need to remember that he just turned 16, which is the legal age of getting a license. What's more, you have to go and do certain things to get that license after turning 16. And as of yet, Bronny doesn't seem to have done that yet. Not that he won't, it's just that he hasn't yet. So, why are we listing a car that he doesn't own yet as something you'd wish you could have? Simple. Don't you remember who his father is? LeBron James is many things, but one thing he absolutely is a car fan. And by fan, we mean that he will go and get all sorts of cars just because he wants to and because he can. The King Collection, as some refer to it, has all sorts of makes and models from various luxury car makers including Porsche, Ferrari, and more. So you almost have to wonder what Bronny will get from dear old dad if and when he gets a car. Because while it may be responsible to go and give Bronny a car to try out first and get his bearings, NBA players aren't exactly the most reserved lot, especially when it comes to getting gifts for their kids. Many players, both current and former, have a tendency to go overboard and get their kids a fancy car, and that might just happen here with Bronny. We might find out sooner rather than later. 4. Shoe collection. Here's another thing that NBA players have in common for one reason or another. NBA players like having good shoes, and some have their own brands or lines that they use to hype up themselves or the brands. But for some, they just love collecting classic and new shoes because they just love them a lot, which of course includes LeBron James and, by extension, Bronny.
These right here, man. The LeBron Zoom Generation 1. This is where it all started. This right here is where it all started. 18-year-old kid coming into the league and have an opportunity to have my own signature shoe, which I never, ever thought would be
Because
possible.
LeBron James absolutely has a large collection of shoes, especially ones from his own brand of shoes, which Bronny has access to and thus can wear anytime he wants. Even if they're variations of shoes that are sold out to the public, extremely rare or extremely expensive. But wait, there's more. Both LeBron and Bronny get sent shoes by various artists who are trying to make names for themselves. And that means they're special right off the bat. And that says nothing of how Bronny has shoes from current and former NBA players and their lines, like with Dwayne Wade, James Harden, Damian Lillard, and so on. And this says nothing of how his shoe collection will expand should he accomplish his goal of making it to the NBA. Because if he does, and is a good talent, he'll very much be in line to get his own shoe line, and thus make his collection worth even more. 3. His Instagram account. Okay, let's step away from true monetary value here and talk about a little curious fact about Bronny. Mainly his Instagram account. Bronny already has over 5 million followers on Instagram, which puts him at a higher follower count than some people in the NBA, including some of his father's teammates. This no doubt seems kind of strange, right? Why would a son of a player have more followers than actual players? The answer here is destiny. Many will see Bronny as the next big thing in the NBA given his current skills, which, as we noted, he definitely has, and the training his father is no doubt giving him. As such, people want to follow him in order to see what he can do and will do in their minds once he goes to the NBA. And the more talent he shows, the more he's likely to continue growing that following, which will make some people jealous because they definitely wish they could have a following as big as his. 2. Clothes and jewelry. A little more low-key, but something to mention nonetheless, is that because of his lifestyle and the fact that LeBron James is his dad, Bronny James can afford all sorts of things in terms of clothing and jewelry. We know for a fact that he has items from Gucci and more luxury brands, which isn't too surprising given the fact that LeBron is a sharp-dressed man himself. This also goes for his jewelry, because LeBron also likes to wear shiny things, and this means that Bronny gets to enjoy them as well. 1. Training and body conditioning. This final entry is the one that very much ties into his father. You see, LeBron James is able to play at such a high level because he takes extreme care of his body. And, for the record, we do mean extreme care. It's said that he spends about $1.5 million on his body a year to keep it in peak physical condition. While we wouldn't be so bold as to say that Bronny undergoes all of these things to do the same for his, there's little doubt that LeBron helps Bronny and trains Bronny and gives him access to people and machines that the average high school athlete doesn't have. It's not hard to see why, as he wants Bronny to succeed, and will if he trains as hard as his father and his skills continue to escalate. So, what do you think? What do you think of this look at LeBron James Jr. and the various things that he has that sets him apart from everyone else, both in terms of lifestyle and property? Do you think that he is going to be a big basketball star like his father? Do you think that his life is very much privileged because of his father? Let us know in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you next time on the channel.